ever since we have left the EU, there has been next to nothing really reported about the ongoings of what's been going on in the EU Parliament. And even sort of, well, when we're in the EU, it's not like there was a lot of reporting, to be honest, going on anyway. Most of it, if you look back at the history of it, is pretty much Boris Johnson writing that they were trying to ban prawn cocktail crisps or some other ridiculous thing that, we can sort of spin to be anti-EU. That was pretty much the stuff that has come out about the EU Parliament, well, back in the day, shall we say. But since then, not really too much. However, I really want to stress that I think everyone in the UK would at least know and recognise the fact that we have a more right-wing government than ever really before. And this was actually one of the things that was brought up during Brexit. The idea that you have all these people expressing very, very right-wing views that if we, well, vote to leave the EU, all of a sudden we're stuck with them. Like, we're then stuck with them. That's the problem. And that has become the increasing problem. And interesting enough, there was a letter, or at least a comment I want to go over by a French, here we are, by Gwendoline Debos-Cofield. She's a French MEP and a member of the delegation to the EU-UK Parliamentary Partnership Assembly. And I want to go over some of her comments because, worryingly, as she's about to say, we have got a situation where we are seeing conservatives in Europe being absolutely disgusted and bedazzled by the stuff that we're seeing things like Suella Braverman is saying that they would never say in a month of Sunday. So it just goes to really show just how a far-right lurch this Tory government has gone. So, like I say, before we do get onto this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, as always, there is the Pony Club and the YouTube thank you button down below as well. So, let's go on into this and her comment she had about this. So, like I say, Gwendoline Debos-Cofield, she's a French MEP. This is what she had to say. She said, those on both the left and the right of the EU Parliament have felt the Tory government has lurched to the far right. What Suella Braverman says cannot be accepted even from Christian Democrats from Luxembourg or Netherlands or Sweden. They cannot accept some of what Suella Braverman says when she says that she is happy to see people being sent to Rwanda. If she told it's the rhetoric, I would say that's what is very frightening for a lot of us, is the words more than the acts. The acts themselves, we never really know because it's so blurry. So what we have left to judge on is the wording, and it is the wording that is very, very populist and sometimes far right. She added, today there is a big comparison to be made, that the UK looks like the US when it was Trump. That would be the general view from at least the left or the right. And everyone would tend to think that UK politics today is like US politics when it was Trump. Miss Braverman have made headlines over the last year when she said that she was seeing the flight take off with asylum seekers to Rwanda was her dream and obsession. She also drew fury from her own peers when she described the opposition from Tory MPs to Liz Truss's plan to scrap the top tax rate as a coup. And when you've got a European MEP calling Britain far right, that even European conservatives are like, yeah, no, thank you, very much. That's not for us. Thank you. We'll just go. Whoa, ooh, that's a bit too much even for us. Yeah, that is some big, very much discussions that we've really got to have, and I think this is something well worth bringing up. well worth the fact that these comments have been brought up, but it also goes to show you how far right we've gone in the UK. That you've got someone saying, look, conservatives in Europe would say that, yeah, you've gone too far right. You're more like, you know, uh, the US when it was under Trump. So I think there is a hope, certainly from Europe and probably from the rest of the world, that this is dealt with. And ultimately, I have to say to all the Europeans who do and say think that, yes, don't worry, it will be dealt with. Um, like I say, the Tory party is going to go under a massive internal development. I'm just realizing how bad my hair is at the moment. It's going to go under a massive internal fight, definitely for its future. Will these far right lunatics win? Well, here's the thing: they've been the ones who have been in control, and to try and sort of justify that they should double down on those ideas or continue with those ideas, it's not going to be, shall we say, go very well from. Like I say, you've got Michael Gove, who is currently at the moment shopping around for a new idea for his run when he eventually decides he wants a shot again at the Tory leadership position. It's very likely, but ultimately, yes. Yeah, everyone recognizes it. It's not just you in the UK. We recognize it as well. Um, but I think this is something just worth bringing up because obviously we don't hear too much from the EU Parliament these days because, well, it's not like we heard much, to be honest, from the EU Parliament back in the day either. So there you go. But again, I think his comments worth bringing up like this, but it also goes to show you, yeah, European conservatives are like, what are you doing? And this is about another conservative party. And it's kind of funny again at the time because the Conservative Party likes to make the claim that they are like the grandmother of pretty much all the other conservative movements in Europe. Um, yeah, at this point, I think many of these grandchildren, to use their phrasing, yeah, it's time to put grandma in the home. Very much so in this regard, that's for sure. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.